My name is Sofia Herra. I'm Program Manager for Cruelty and Companion Animals for Humane World for Animals Costa Rica. With me is Grettel Delgadillo, who will present herself and start off with today's topic.
Good evening. My name is Grettel Delgadillo, and I'm Deputy Director and in charge of wildlife issues here in the office in Costa Rica. The today topic we are going to present is animal-friendly communities, a community-driven approach to harmonize companion animals, wildlife, and people in Tortuguero. It's a case study. So I wanted to start mentioning a little bit of the context that the country we are performing this project. Costa Rica, as you know, is a mega diverse country. It contains the 5% of the world's biodiversity, despite just covering 0.03% of the Earth's surface. So we are very, very tiny, but we have a lot of biodiversity. Around the 20% of the country is lands protected in forms of national parks, wildlife refuges, and another biological reserves and other kind of protected areas. This project started like a long time ago, and the base for that is that we perform a national assessment to determine priority interactions that causes biodiversity loss in the country. Those human-wildlife interactions were found in different categories that the assessment was reflected. Tourism, infrastructure, human settlements or urbanism, and agriculture. Those categories are like implies a lot of human activities that have interactions with wild animals. And that's how Costa Rica Silvestre or Wild Costa Rica program was born, which is an interinstitutional, interdisciplinary program that addresses best practices to improve the interactions that occur between humans and wildlife in those 4 categories that I mentioned before. Humane World has been an instrumental part of this initiative from the beginning, and it continues to be part of it. I also want to mention as a context that interactions between human and wild animals create another complex dynamic. The interactions between companion animals and wild species. As you know, companion animals are now part of our families. And because of that, they have also many scenarios where they interact directly or indirectly, causing various impacts. For example, free-roaming cats and dogs can significantly impact local wildlife and population and vice versa. Stray and feral dogs and cats can compete with native wildlife for limited resources, such as food or shelter or other resources that they can find. Companion animals can be carriers of diseases that can be transmitted to wildlife populations and vice versa. And of course, dogs and cats can cause, as you know, many impacts to natural habitats, such as nesting areas, affecting the nesting success of wildlife species as well. This photo that you have here shows how companions and wild animals sometimes use the same spaces and resources. For example, in the left, you see a raccoon at 2 a.m. in the morning, and 5 hours later, there was a cat with a kitten using the same spaces. So it's a very complex environment that they interact all the time. This topic has increasingly become a great relevance for our office in Costa Rica. And we have come to the realization that each community in our country, whether urban or rural or coastal, faces different challenges and dynamic between those companion animals, humans, and the wild animals, as we want to call them, wild neighbors. And even though we are a pet-loving country, we love pets here, we need to recognize that companion animals, especially free-roaming and dogs and cats, have the power to impact wildlife populations as well. Therefore, humane, adapted, and sustained companion animals and engagement initiatives in every community are crucial to ensure not only the well-being of dogs and cats, but also the protection of wild animals and their habitats, and of course, impacting positively human health, all part of the One Health approach. An animal-friendly community is the name of our pilot in Tortuguero, as I mentioned it before. We selected Tortuguero, that is a community as our pilot area because we had already collaborative work with relevant government partners and other NGOs and ongoing conversations about achieving human-wildlife coexistence. And Sofia will take you now through our work over there and to describe a little bit of the context that we are facing in Tortuguero. Sofia?
Thank you, Gretel. So yeah, in this map, you can see exactly where Tortuguero is in Costa Rica. It's located in the Caribbean coast of our country. And Tortuguero town is located right next to the protected area of Tortuguero National Park. It is surrounded by water. It has the Caribbean side on one side, the Caribbean Sea on one side, sorry, and the river canal on the other side. So the main transportation system is a boat, since there are no roads in Tortuguero. Tortuguero also holds ecological significance as it is a major marine sea turtle nesting site. The region is extremely biodiverse and is also home to many wild felines, including the jaguars. Jaguars usually prey on green turtles, turtle eggs, hatchlings during nesting season, but the rest of the year, a major concern in the region is increasingly growing, which is that the jaguars are entering the town and preying on dogs and cats. Another concern is that free-roaming dogs are scavenging on turtle eggs and hatchlings, and this is leading to a declining nesting success and causing a direct impact on turtle populations. This is problematic from both the pet owner's perspectives as well as the disease transmission standpoint. Actually, outbreaks of canine distemper has been noted in the past, and there is a fear that the disease might pass between dogs and jaguars or even other wild species. Access to veterinary care is not easy in these places, and the nearest vet clinic is about 2 or 3 hours away. So to address these challenges, we have established 6 main goals in our pilot to promote collaboration among local stakeholders by facilitating dialogue and collective action, to create a network of animal ambassadors to serve as community leaders and advocates for animal welfare, to implement mitigation measures to reduce negative interactions between companion and wild animals, to improve pet ownership practices by community engagement and humane education, to enhance pet health through access to care, and to establish a pet database to track and manage animal populations more effectively. These objectives aim to create a framework for sustainable and impactful change, and we'll talk briefly about each one of them. So Humane World is not the first organization to work in Tortuguero. As you can imagine, it's a very interesting place, especially when it comes to One Health issues. From the beginning, our goal has been to build on the efforts and resources already available in the area by promoting collaboration through dialogue and collective action. In fact, a small committee has been formed made up of government agencies, academia, civil society, and NGOs. Here are just a few examples of how we have worked together. The government has invited us to join capacity building activities for local tour operators. Academic institutions have supported our access to care events by sharing public health topics and collecting samples like blood, feces, or skin from dogs and cats for their own research, or other NGOs contribute their expertise to protect the species they study. In general, for every activity we carry out, we make sure to involve local partners. Throughout the pilot, we have focused on identifying and engaging animal ambassadors, how we like to call them that way, but they also selected that as a term for themselves. These are people in the community who are interested in promoting animal welfare, leading or supporting local efforts, and receiving training on specific topics. They can also serve as point of contact for animal-related concerns, especially when veterinary services are not available. This year, we are developing a training and capacity building plan for them, covering topics like animal health, ethology, pet first aid, coexistence with wildlife, and relevant legislation. We've also made sure to give them active and meaningful roles in our activities. For example, during our latest campaign, they were trained to recognize signs of fear, anxiety, and stress in dogs and cats, and they helped assess the animals through the event.
So in this universe of activities, we are also exploring with relevant partners coexistence strategies to minimize the impact of free-roaming pets on sensitive habitats and reduce negative interactions between pets and wildlife. These strategies might include building barrier infrastructures in key areas of the community and installing signage and providing information to raise awareness and guide responsible pet ownerships. For example, in this picture, you will see Barbara, which is an animal ambassador and a very, very committed member of the community. Every day, she goes to the field, she checks on camera traps in the specific areas of the national park to help study all the movement of the jaguar within the community and also within the protected area. So it has been a great source of information, and we have been like trying to integrate these mitigation strategies along with all the companion animals that we are doing in the community.
Thank you. Another one of our goals is to really improve pet ownership practices through community engagement and humane education. And basically for every activity we organize, we include an educational component, and we try to be like super creative. We try to set up like engaging and attractive booths. And we try to offer fun activities to carry like a clear message about responsible pet care and love for animals. Just as a few examples, we've held workshops where people make cat toys using recycled materials, and that one was a hit within the community. We also try to foster commitment from pet guardians, and for example, during our animal health campaigns, we ask them to take like serious responsibility. For example, showing up on time, staying for the full appointment, or even communicate their animal needs with the veterinarians. And actually, before receiving the vet care, they are required to visit a few educational booths where they learn about responsible pet ownership or the environmental and wildlife impact of the free-roaming pets, or the zoonotic disease that occur in the community, or even other topics. On the left corner, you can see how we have collected some amazing artwork from visitors, filled with powerful messages about what an animal-friendly community means to them. And these messages have really continued inspiring us and helping us shape the path forward. One of the main goals for this year's pilot is to create a reliable, up-to-date database that links animals to their guardians. This database will eventually be handed over to the community. So as a part of this effort, we have introduced a microchipping, which is not very common to use in Costa Rica yet. We have tried to introduce it as a reliable and effective method for identifying animals during our wellness campaigns, as this helps build familiarity and acceptance of this technology within the community. And as mentioned before, one of our key goals is to enhance pet health through access to care. So during these animal health campaigns, we offer medical checkups, rapid tests or rapid lab tests to detect certain viral or parasitic diseases. We offer vaccination, deworming, and also take-home treatments when recommended by the veterinarians. We also facilitate boat transportation for tutors and their animals when needed. So far, we have provided vet services to nearly 250 animals. This is what one of our animal health looks like. We aim to provide a positive experience, not only for the animals, but also for the guardians and all the stakeholders working together during the campaign. And basically, one of our goals is for the community to really take ownership of these spaces and have the tools to continue leading these efforts in the near future. Next year, we plan to conduct a second monitoring, evaluation, and impact assessment study to measure the impact and improvement on pet ownership practices, but also attitudes and habits, and of course, everything related to interactions between pets and wildlife.
As you know, we could have spent many hours talking about this wonderful project, but in the interest of time, this is a quick summary of the pilot. We hope that through collaboration, education, and affordable veterinary care, we inspire responsible pet ownership, conserve wildlife habitats, and ensure harmonious coexistence between human, pets, and wildlife in Costa Rica. So happy to hear your questions or reflections, comments about the topic, and thank you so much again for the opportunity.
Thank you.